Today we are looking at the latest supplement for Adeptus Titanicus, Crucible of Retribution, featuring Legio Ignatum, the Fire Wasps. Now I am a big Fire Wasps player. I've got 40k scale Ignatum engines and a Adeptus Titanicus army. I'm really been looking forward to this book for checking out what they do. So yeah, big thanks to Games for sending this out for us to do a bit of a review and share the contents with you. Adeptus Titanicus has had quite a lot of love since the game came out, and we've seen, what, 4 or 5 supplement books come out now for these, along with a whole host of models. And spoilers, there's some models that are in this book as well that we'll have a look at later on. But yeah, this follows pretty much the same format as the other supplements that we've got. We open up with a big lore section telling us all about the Belt of Iron, which is the setting of this supplement. Essentially, this is covering the Mechanicum Civil War, essentially, and all the engines that took place in that. So you get some really nice maps and details of all the planets within the Belt of Iron. So again, really nice from a narrative point of view, being able to delve into the background of the Horus Heresy, or another facet of the Horus Heresy, which is what these books are really good for. It kind of reminds me of the stuff that you get in the Horus Heresy Black books for the core Horus Heresy game. So getting that in this Titanicus supplement is really nice to see. And yeah, really cool looking book. We get a timeline of the events as well, which gives us a bit of flavour for the events in this book. So yeah, for lore fans, definitely one to sink your teeth into. Really enjoyable to see all this stuff supporting the game, which is really nice. So the main thing a lot of people getting these books will be looking for, though, is the details of the different legios that are added within the book. So we've got Legio Astroman, the Morning Stars. They've got Legion trait Unyielding. So when activated during the movement phase, they can choose to voluntarily awaken their machine spirit. So they advance their reactor marker by 2, and essentially you automatically fail a machine spirit test, but you get the stalwart result. So yeah, that's pretty cool. They get a stratagem as well, Strength and Resolve, and that's until the beginning of the following round. Attacks made against that Titan gain no bonus to armor rolls as a result of damage already inflicted. So yeah, it makes it a little bit harder for you to crack your already weakened Titans, which is pretty nice. They get another stratagem, Stand Firm. It can be used at the beginning of any round. For the duration of that round, any friendly Astroman Titan can merge Void Shields with any other friendly Titan as if they were part of the same squadron, as long as none of the Titans sharing Void Shields have moved this round. So that's really cool, where one Titan can lead assistance with its shield to the other one. So yeah, really cool. They also get some Legio specific war gear, Maglock shells. They cost 5 points per dice value of the weapon profile. So they give an example there: a Gatling Blaster would have 6 dice, so it costs 30 points. So yeah, they get to add 1 to the result of armor rolls made with a weapon with this upgrade when resolving an attack with an ordnance weapon. So that's pretty cool. They also get some Legio specific traits. Steadfast. When they're required to roll on Awakened Machine Spirit, they can instead choose the result instead of rolling, but it does increase their reactor level by 1. So that's pretty good, being able to pick which result on that random table that you want to get. Pretty handy. Diligent, once per battle during the strategy phase. The Princeps Titan may be issued an emergency repairs order without the need to take a command check. So if you desperately need to get that emergency repairs order in, you can do so. And then Immovable Bastion. Once per battle, after resolving the effects of an attack made against the Princeps Titan by an enemy Titan as part of a charge, the Princeps Titan may immediately make a smash attack, or an attack with a weapon with a melee trait against the attacking unit. So yeah, basically when you get charged, you can immediately punch them back in the face. So that's pretty cool. And again, we get some nice artwork, really nice green for the Morning Stars. Really like the look of them. Very tasty. We then get Legio Ignatum, the Firebrands. So their trait is seizing the initiative. Essentially, if you rolled less than your opponent in the roll-off to determine who gets the first player, you get to re-roll it. And if you win it, you have to declare yourself as the first player because they want to try and seize the initiative. Pretty cool, that one. They've got a specific stratagem, Impetuous Machine Spirits. So when they would have to roll on the Awakened Machine Spirit table, instead of rolling, they can automatically pick the Impetuous result, but they will move d6 plus 2 rather than d6. So again, pretty cool. Maniple of 1 is another stratagem they get. And yeah, this is a cool one. It essentially lets a single Titan gain the benefits of any maniple trait normally available to the Firebrands. So yeah, so if you had an ability on any maniple you could normally take, you can apply it just to that Titan. It doesn't get the benefits of the maniple it was in though. But that's pretty cool if you need to have a situational kind of shift of your ability mid-battle. So yeah, pretty cool that. They also get some Legio specific war gear in Infernus Missiles. It's an upgrade to Apocalypse Launcher for 15 points. And yeah, essentially puts down a marker in the end phase. Any model with at least part of its base on the marker takes a strength 4 hit, ignoring void shields and ion shields. Titans suffer it to their legs, and blocking terrain touched by the template takes a hit as well. If it's not destroyed, it is set alight. So yeah, that's pretty cool. They also get some specific traits for your Princeps. So Headstrong in the end phase, you can choose not to discard any orders issued to Titans. So if you've got an order on a Titan, you can make sure it's on next turn without having to make a command check. So that's pretty cool. Unconventional Thinker. Once per battle after an enemy Titan has declared an action, but before it moves or fire, the Princeps Titan can be moved up to d6 inches in any direction and change its facing. That is pretty cool. So yeah, you can try and react to enemy Titan moves before they come into effect by moving your guy out of the way or change his facing. Really like that. And then Shedim Drift Veteran. So during the combat phase, the Princeps may choose one of their Titan's weapons. Any armor rolls resulting from hits by the weapon may be re-rolled this round. If he's targeting a Titan from the Death Heads or Tiger Eyes, then they can re-roll their armor rolls. Now we get on to the greatest Titan Legion of all time, Legio Ignatum, the Fire Wasps. So yeah, I know a lot of people have been crying out for rules for the Fire Wasps, and we finally get them. And yeah, they're pretty cool. So their trait is all about taking things out at close range. So if they're within 12 inches of them during the combat phase, they can re-roll hits of 1. So you're going to have to get close to the enemy to benefit from that. But yeah, if you go for some aggressive maniples, you can certainly get that benefit. We've got a really cool ability, a stratagem, Punish Their Folly, which is essentially Overwatch. So when an enemy Titan ends its move within 3 inches of an Ignitum Titan as part of a charge order, before any attacks are resolved, you can immediately make an attack using the ballistic skill with a weapon without the melee trait. So basically you can Overwatch enemy Titans when they charge in. Really, really cool being able to blow a hole in a Titan that's running towards you. So really like that one. Another specific stratagem they get, Guard the Gates. This one's a bit unclear on whether it applies for the whole game or just the first round, but essentially it lets you issue the first fire order on all your Titans without the need to make a command check. So if that's the entire game, that's pretty cool. You can just, I mean, you're probably not going to struggle too much with command checks, but yeah, if you want to make sure that you can get that order on there, I think it does suggest that it's the whole game. I think you just use the stratagem at the start of the first round strategy phase. So yeah, looks pretty tasty. They also get a cool bit of war gear, the Gravitonic Sensor Array. For 15 points you get a +1 to hit any Titan that's at least 25% obscured. So it makes you better at shooting stuff that's in cover, which is pretty handy. And then their Princeps traits that they get for their the Legio Ignatum: Death Before Dishonour. You can reroll hit rolls if the Titan has suffered critical damage. However, during damage control, you have to repair your weapons first before any other systems. Foe Slayer. During the combat phase, the Princeps may choose one of their Titan's weapons. Add 1 to the result of all armour rolls with the chosen weapon. If you're targeting Mortis or Tempestus, you can choose 2 weapons to add that +1 to. So again, really, really good for punching through enemy Titans, especially if it's one of the despicable legions that betrayed Mars. And Eternal Guardian. Once per combat phase, the Princeps may re-roll a single armour roll resulting from hits of any of their weapons if they have not moved voluntarily or involuntarily in the same round. So as long as you've stayed still, you can re-roll a single armour roll, and that is once per combat phase. So essentially you can try and punch armour better once per round, which is pretty good. I quite like those. I think my favourite's where they add 1 to the armour roll with your chosen weapon. That's pretty cool. But yeah, fairly happy with the Legio Ignatum rules. I'm just glad to finally get them. Next up, we have Legio Venator, the Iron Spiders. Really nice scheme for these guys. Bit of a Spider-Man 3 vibe on the shoulder pads. But yeah, loyalty be above all. They ignore the wounded critical damage effect. In addition, they add 1 to the result of any command check while they're within 6 inches of the Princeps Titan. So yeah, these guys are pretty good at passing command checks if their Princeps is nearby. 1 mind, at the beginning of each round, Titans within a friendly Legio Venator mana pool may be formed into squadrons. Each squadron may contain a maximum of 2 Titans and cannot include a Titan that's already part of a squadron. These squadrons last until the end of the round. Titans formed into squadrons cannot merge void shields but follow all other squadron rules as normal. So yeah, that's pretty handy. And then Mobile Force, you can take Reavers in place of any Warlord Titan, giving you a bit of flexibility in your mana pool construction. They get some Legio specific war gear in the form of blind launchers. They cost 20 points and once per game during the combat phase. A Titan with the upgrade can launch them, and they have a -1 to hit for all attacks made against the Titan, and a -1 modifier for any hit rolls made by the Titan. Essentially, you pop smoke. So yeah, pretty good if you don't want to get hit. Pretty tasty. Their personal traits: Burning Hatred. Once per round, when the Princeps Titan causes critical damage to an enemy Titan, the Princeps Titan may immediately make an attack with one of its weapons chosen by the controlling player. After resolving the effects of the attack, roll a d6 on the Reactor Overlord table for the Princeps Titan. So yeah, that's a bit of a double-edged sword. But you've got a good chance of doing a load of damage to the enemy force in short succession, but it might be a bit risky there. Crusade Veteran, once per game, after resolving a repair roll made as part of an emergency repair order, the Princeps may discard the order and immediately be issued a second order. The second order can be another emergency repair. Even if the repair order is moved in this manner, the Princeps can only be activated in either subsequent movement phase or the combat phase of the round as normal. So basically, what that lets you do is you repair as part of your emergency repairs order and then put another order on the Titan. So, like it says, you could do further repairs with that, or you could give them a different order entirely and get the effects of that, which is pretty cool. But yeah, you can still only act either in the movement phase or the combat phase. But yeah, pretty good. And then Superior Tactician, the presence of the Princeps adds 1 additional stratagem point to the battle group, and that may be used before the battle to purchase stratagems. Again, pretty good. Bizarrely, they don't have any Legio specific stratagems to take advantage of that, but obviously you can use all the general generic ones. Then we have Legio Atlantis Cara, the Impalers. So their trait is Direct Measures. Once per round, a single Titan can move using their boosted speed value without needing to push their reactor. So that's pretty good if you want an aggressive force that's driving to objectives and you don't want to kind of risk your Titan getting hot. Yeah, pretty cool. They're also bullish. When making attacks as part of a charge order, You can make a smash attack in addition to any other attacks it makes. So again, yeah, really driving home this aggressive close combat force, which is nice. They get a stratagem heedless charge. You play it at the start of the strategy phase. For the remainder of the phase, any friendly titans can be issued a charge order without needing to make a command check. Again, building upon this whole very fast, very aggressive, smashing things in the face. And then we've got some Legio specific war gear. The more danatized Ceramite. It costs 10 points, subtract 1 from armour rolls for an attack made by a weapon that targets them, with a maximal fire trait. Negative modifier is applied even if the attacking unit is not using the maximal fire trait to increase their weapon strength. Okay, so as long as they've got that keyword on the weapon, it's -1 to your armour roll, so that's pretty cool. And then their traits, Cruel. When making attacks with a unit scale of 5 or lower, increase the strength of any hits by 2. That's just mean. So you go around bullying the smaller titans. Titan Killer. Once per round, the Princeps may re-roll all armour rolls of 1 in an attack made against an enemy titan. And Heedless Rage. Once per round, the Princeps may make an attack with a disabled weapon with the melee trait. Once the effects of the attack have been resolved, the Princeps Titan suffers a single strength 10 hit to the body. Ooh. So yeah, I quite like these guys. They seem really aggressive in close combat. Yeah, I mean the fact that they can pick a Titan and use the boosted speed without having to push the reactor, get some close combat weapons on your Warlords and Reavers and throw them forward. Yeah, they seem pretty cool. Then we've got Legio Culisati, possibly, the Gatekeepers. These guys are callous, so they never suffer penalty to their command checks and may ignore effects that force them to re-roll successful command checks. So that's pretty good. You've got some reliability for your command rolls with these guys. Steadfast Bastion. You add 6 to the short range characteristic of all weapons without the melee trait, as long as it didn't move. So yeah, if you've got weapons that benefit from being in that close range, you get an extra 6-inch reach on them, which is pretty cool. Another stratagem they get is Methodical Advance. So you play it in the first round, you pick a scale, and all friendly titans with the same scale can immediately make a move. Yeah, pretty cool. After the effects of it, the opposing player becomes the first player. So essentially you get a pre-turn move to advance up. Pretty cool. They get accelerated auto loaders. So yeah, this is pretty cool. It's a 20-point upgrade for your weapon, and it essentially lets you fire twice with it, the second time having a -1 to hit, and it disables the weapon. But yeah, there's potential for some cool stuff there where you just go all out with a weapon, and yeah, shooting twice could be pretty handy, even if it does disable the weapon afterwards. And then yeah, their traits, Ancient of Death. When the Princeps must roll on a reactor overload table, only ever on a d6, even if the reactor status marker is in the red hole, so you're never using the d10s on there. Infamous Warlord. Enemy units within 8 inches of the Princeps subtract -1 from any command check they make. Pretty good. And Corrupted. The Princeps Titan ignores the MIU feedback and Princeps wounded damage effects. So yeah, there's another presence driving the Titan. We have Legio Tritonis, the Dark Tide. Now these guys look pretty cool. I quite like the look of these fellas. They can take Warlords in place of any Reaver in any mana pools. And with Revel in Slaughter, for each enemy Titan that has been destroyed, they add 1 to command checks to a maximum of 3. So yeah, their speciality is smashing up Titans, and yeah, they get bonuses to their command checks for doing so. So that's pretty cool. So they have another cool stratagem which essentially blocks off line of sight around the battlefield. You put down 3 markers. Each marker has to be 10 inches away from a previously deployed marker, and basically there's a kind of bubble around the marker where you block line of sight, and then a bigger marker where it's a -2 penalty to command checks. Seems pretty good, especially if you want to, you know, make the battlefield a bit safe turn 1 and block off any lines of shooting from some first fire orders maybe. So yeah, pretty cool. They also get some specific war gear, radiative warheads. So they cost 25 points and they're an upgrade to Apocalypse missile launchers. And then when attacking a target with void shields, any hit of a 6 counts as 2 hits. So that's pretty handy. Their traits are Tactical Genius, so you can reroll to see who the first player is. If they do, the Princeps Titan cannot be activated in the following strategy phase though, so a bit of a double-edged sword there. Lust for Vengeance, once per game. When the Princeps Titan suffers critical damage, the Titan may respond in kind. After resolving the effects of the attack that caused the critical damage, the Princeps Titan can immediately make a single attack with any of its non-disabled weapons against the same target. If the attack destroys the enemy unit, the opponent's activation ends. So that's really cool. So if your opponent opens up and gets lucky with an early shot that does some critical damage to your Titan, you immediately get to return fire, and if you destroy them, that's it, that's their activation over. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And then the final upgrade lets you take this Stygian Veil multiple times, so you can do that, the shrouding effect over multiple turns. So yeah, that could be pretty cool as well. And then the final Legio we have in the book is Legio Damakian, the Unbroken Lords. Their trait is Trifling Pain. They can choose to ignore a single critical damage effect, which lasts until the end of the combat phase. In addition, you can repair critical damage on a 4+ rather than a 5+, so these guys seem pretty tanky. They are envious, so they add 1 to those auto command checks as long as at least one enemy Titan of an equal or larger scale than their own is visible to them. So yeah, going for the big guys. They've got a stratagem, Endurance Beyond Limits. At the start of the combat phase, they immediately get to make a repair roll for each Titan, equal to half their servitor clades. So that's pretty cool, some emergency healing that they can do as a stratagem. And then they get some war gear secondary plating. It costs 10 points. The first critical hit is downgraded to a devastating hit. But it's a kind of a one-use war gear item, so it has no benefits after that. Pretty cool. And then their personnel traits, Beyond Death. When the Princeps suffers catastrophic damage, make a command check for the Titan before rolling on the catastrophic damage table. If the check is successful, do not roll on the table. Instead, the Titan moves d6s in the direction of the controlling player's choice, stopping it before it collides with enemy units. The Titan then immediately suffers a magazine detonation. So essentially you can, I suppose, control what's going to happen to your exploding Titan by moving it towards the enemy engines and detonating it. So that's pretty cool. Bitter Soul. Princeps Titan does not halve their speed when they suffer a hit from a quake cannon that is not deflected by their shields, nor do they pivot. So yeah, it gives you a bit of quake cannon resistance. And then Limitless, once per game during the combat phase. The Princeps Titan may make an attack with any and all of its disabled weapons as if they were not disabled. That's pretty good. So yeah, if your Titan's on its last legs and a load of weapons are disabled, you can use this to fire with them all. We also get 2 new mana pools added in this book. The Ignis Light mana pool, which is essentially Flame On. You have to take 3 Warhound Titans and 1 Cerastus Knight banner with Acherons. Optionally, you can take 2 more Warhound Titans and 2 more Knight banners. And basically this gives you a bonus to your Flamestorm weapons. So yeah, go burn things up. It's pretty good. Also lets the Knight banners make a first fire or full stride without the need for a command check, as long as they're within 6 inches of a Titan that has issued the same order. So yeah, that's pretty cool. We then have the Precept Battle Line mana pool. This is pretty good. You take a Warlord, a Warbringer and a Warhound, and optionally you have got a Reaver and a Warhound. As long as every Titan wants to do the same action, they will all get that action on a roll of a 2+ without having to make a command check. If any Titan wants to do a different action, they would have to make a command check as normal. But yeah, I quite like that one. So yeah, within the book we also get rules for some of the various knight households that took part in the conflict. So yeah, lots of options for your households to add to the ones that we've already got for them, which is pretty cool. Note the Mechanicum Knight... ... We then get a nice little narrative series of missions following the Cataclysm of Iron. As we've seen in other books, it will give you the suggested forces. In some of the battles, it's not going to be completely balanced. One side is going to be having a massive advantage compared to the other. It's more about telling the story. So I really like these missions. There's a bit of a narrative effect. There's some cool stuff like fighting your way through siege lines. Yeah, these are really cool. I'm looking forward to the world returning to a little bit of normality so we can play through some of these campaigns, because I'm itching to get the Titans on the battlefield again. What we then get is a way of generating games based around different environments with specific missions and layouts based on those environments as well. So essentially you'll roll a d3 to determine what kind of world that you're fighting over, and then a d6 for which mission that you're playing. So essentially you've got 18 new missions for your games of Adeptus Titanicus here, and they're really cool. So they'll be set in different environments with some different gimmicks going on. Like this one here where there's a chasm behind the defender's deployment zone, so yeah, you don't want to get knocked back there. Equally, you've got some bridges that you're trying to hold in this one, so yeah, I think these are going to be really fun to play through. It suggests the kind of scenery that you take, and yeah, a nice little way of generating up a mission to play. I know the same day as this book's up for pre-order, there's also some open engine war cards that let you generate battles as well, so anything that lets you generate more games of Adeptus Titanicus is pretty cool in my book. But yeah, it's really fun. I quite like this one, where essentially all these black areas are just open space that you could fall down into, with the attacker coming from these 4 bridges into the central area. I think that'd be really fun. Likewise, this one, there's a convoy coming down here and the defender's got to try and stop them. Yeah, some really cool missions. And yeah, anything that gives us cool new ways to play with our Titans is good in my book. This is an interesting one. A bit of a siege with a big defendable wall. I hope we see kind of more of this stuff for the Siege of Terror, because presumably there will be a Siege of Terror Titanicus book. So yeah, would be really cool to see that. But yeah, lots and lots of stuff here, from barren wastelands to densely populated hive worlds. Lots of cool ways to play your games. So finally, we get, if you've been to Warhammer World anytime recently, they've got this set up there. Some really nice pictures of it, but yeah, go and check it out in the flesh if you're a fan of Titans. And then finally, hidden at the back of the book, we do have a sneaky peek at some new knights as well. Mechanicum variant knights. Now, I don't know if this is a plastic kit or their resin updates, but yeah, just look like we're getting some variant knights for Adeptus Titanicus, so yeah, really looking forward to that. So yeah, that's a quick look at Crucible of Retribution. These books are really, really nice. They're not essential by all means. If you play the Legios in there, you probably will want to pick them up. I'd certainly recommend this one for all the different missions in the back of it as well. There's a lot of game content in this one, and 18 new missions will give you some variety for your games. And of course you've got all the Horus Heresy lore in the first half of the book as well. So yeah, if you check out spruesandbrews.com, we also have a full write-up of this book that is up today as well, so check that out. And yeah, when the world returns to normal, we will be planning on streaming some games of Adeptus Titanicus here on YouTube as well. So until next time, we will see you later.